motherfucking to me, hoe ass nigga. You better keep jumping on bitches, nigga. You hoe ass nigga better keep jumping on hoes, nigga. Cause I whoop one of you niggas. ESG. Let me tell you something, homie. I didn't have no show.
Yo, what's good, fam? Strap in, cause tonight we diving into one of the wildest rants to ever hit the culture. Charleston White is back at it again, and this time, he's going for the jugular. No filters, no apologies, and definitely no fear. He's blasting J. Prince Sr., J. Prince Jr., and the whole Mob Ties movement straight out of Houston. And trust me, this ain't just some regular back and forth. This is Charleston White, and when he speaks, the streets listen. The man ain't holding back, calling out corruption, exposing so-called check-in culture, and even daring the princes to step up, whether you love him or hate him. Charleston got everybody talking because when he goes off, he drops bombs heavy enough to shake the entire rap game. So let's break this all the way down. Before we jump deep into the madness, you gotta understand who Charleston White is. This dude built a whole reputation as a shock jock for the streets. He's the type of cat who'll say the stuff everybody's thinking, but nobody else got the guts to say out loud.
I'm ready to go to war with any one of you motherfucking niggas, nigga. Bitch ass nigga. I got over 50 motherfucking guns in there, bitch ass nigga. I go to war with any of you hoe ass nigga. Bulletproof vests and everything, nigga.
Former street hustler, now activist / commentator, Charleston plays the role of both truth teller and chaos starter. One minute he's clowning rappers, the next minute he's exposing the underbelly of the industry. But here's the thing, Charleston thrives on controversy. He knows the louder he yells, the more attention he grabs. And that's exactly what happened when he turned his crosshairs on the princes. From the jump, Charleston ain't soft-stepping. He straight up says, "Mention my name, I disrespect you. I make you throw your whole life away, bruh." That's not subliminals, that's direct artillery fire. He calls J. Prince Sr. and Jr. chumps, clowns, their so-called mob ties, and tells them flat out, y'all can suck my shit. He paints the picture that he's not just some random critic. He says he's linked with organizations bigger than Rap-A-Lot, bigger than Mob Ties. Charleston claims while they working with local cops, he's working with the government. That's a major accusation, and it's exactly the type of smoke Charleston thrives on. One of Charleston's most shocking claims, he accuses J. Prince Sr. of having dirty connections with Houston law enforcement. He points to the fact that Prince somehow got an unredacted police report on an open murder case involving his own son. No blacked out names, no redaction. According to Charleston, that proves Prince is working hand in hand with police to protect his family and organization. Think about it, if that's true, it's huge. If it's false, it's still dangerous talk. Either way, Charleston's basically yelling, you're not mob, you're an informant. That's a heavy shot in street culture where snitching is the ultimate stain. And Charleston takes it further, saying, I'm ready for war with anybody. Bring your shit out here. He's not hiding. He's not whispering. He's daring the princes to confront him. But Charleston ain't just coming for the princes personally. He's dismantling the entire idea of check-in culture in Houston. If you don't know, check-in is the unspoken rule that when celebrities or rappers come to Houston, they gotta tap in with mob ties for safety. You're basically renting protection, but Charleston ain't buying it. He mocks it. Make Taylor Swift check in, make Post Malone check in, make Khloe Kardashian check in. Why only rappers gotta check in? And he ain't lying. You don't hear about country stars or pop singers checking in when they roll through Houston. Charleston says the whole thing is extortion wrapped in the language of respect, and by refusing to check in, he's calling their bluff. Charleston even breaks it down city by city. He says Houston is a player town, that real Houstonians ain't out here robbing every celebrity who shows up. He even argues that what happened to Takeoff was a tragic fluke, not the everyday vibe of Houston nightlife. Go to the club, wear your jewelry, have fun. You can do that in Houston, he says. But in LA, nah, you can't move like that. It's a bold comparison, basically stripping Houston of the scary reputation Mob Ties tries to enforce. And Charleston's message is clear. If you avoid Mob Ties, you'll actually be safer in Houston. That's just the opening act, fam. Charleston White ain't done yet, not even close. He's still got smoke for J. Prince Jr. Accusations of extortion and wild claims about how the whole Mob Ties image is smoke and mirrors. Alright, so if part one was the warm-up, now we stepping into the heavy shots. Charleston White locks his aim directly on J. Prince Jr. And trust me, he's not pulling punches. He straight up says J. Prince Jr. is ruining his father's legacy, clowning him for trying to play gangster while being, in Charleston's words, nothing more than a private school kid. Charleston don't let up. He says J. Prince Jr. is the boy. Everything happens around him. Not Houston, not the streets, him. Basically calling him the epicenter of drama, from dice games to beefs, and even pointing fingers in the aftermath of Takeoff's death. And here's where things really cut deep. Charleston brings up the death of Migos member Takeoff, a tragedy that rocked the entire hip-hop community. He claims the situation itself proves mob ties ain't about protection, it's about exploitation. Remember, Takeoff wasn't wilding out. By all accounts, he was quiet that night, chilling in the background. Charleston even recalls having one of the guys on recording saying Quavo was doing all the talking while Takeoff barely said a word. Yet somehow he's the one who lost his life. To Charleston, that's the smoking gun. If mob ties is really about safety, how did Takeoff end up going under their watch? If anything, Charleston argues checking in with them puts you closer to danger, not away from it. But Charleston doesn't stop there. He laughs at the entire branding of mob ties, ripping it apart bar by bar. He says they ain't got no mob to move nothing in America. They ain't persuading no judge. They ain't got no construction contracts like the Italians in New York. They ain't running unions. To Charleston, mob ties is cosplay, a knockoff version of real mafia structure. They might throw money in strip clubs or flex in rap circles, but in the grand scheme, he says they don't move like a real crime syndicate. They just posture like one. And he ain't scared to say it. Then comes the straight up disrespect. Charleston paints Jay Prince Jr. as reckless, messy, and even clownish in his personal behavior. He repeats wild rumors from strip clubs saying Jay Prince Jr. be sticking his long fingernails in dancers, biting at women, doing goofy stuff that makes him look less like a mob boss and more like an out of control rich kid. Now, whether you believe those rumors or not, you gotta understand Charleston's game here. He's tearing down Jay Prince Jr.'s image brick by brick, not just questioning his street credibility, but his entire manhood and reputation. It's personal, it's nasty, and it's designed to sting. Charleston also exposes what he sees as mob ties' main hustle, extortion. He says when Jay Prince Jr. and his crew go to other cities like Dallas, they stay on their best behavior. But when rappers come into Houston, that's when they start pressing, demanding people check in and play by their rules. According to Charleston, it ain't about community. It ain't about culture. It's about squeezing money and power out of people who don't know better. And Charleston flat out refuses to play that game. Charleston also makes it clear, whatever influence mob ties got in Houston, it don't carry to Dallas. He boldly says, ain't nobody scared of Jay Prince up here. He reminds everyone that Dallas has its own big dogs, its own culture, and mob ties don't run nothing outside their bubble. And he hits them with the ultimate rhetorical question. When the police kill people in the community, where's mob ties? When babies get shot, where's mob ties? When women get beat and raped, where's mob ties? The answer? Nowhere. In Charleston's eyes, mob ties don't show up for the community. They only show up when there's money or clout to be had. That's why he says their whole brand is fraudulent. Charleston hammers this point home again and again. Checking in is not respect, it's extortion. Real respect, he says, comes from the people, from community work, from uplifting the culture, not from demanding rappers hand over cash or allegiance just to move around the city. And he throws shade at the very idea of a mob that only forces rappers but not judges, not police chiefs, not mayors to pay up. That ain't how the mob works, he says. The real mob makes everybody pay, not just entertainers. By now, Charleston's done more than just insult Jay Prince Jr. He's also chipping at Jay Prince Sr.'s legacy. He says the great James Prince, the mogul who built Rap-A-Lot, don't look untouchable anymore. Instead, he looks shaky, nervous, caught slipping because of his son's antics. According to Charleston, Jay Prince Sr. always had mystique, the quiet, powerful figure. But now, he's on camera explaining himself, looking weaker than ever, because he let his son's actions drag him into the spotlight. That's not just a diss, that's a dismantling of the Prince name itself. Alright, so you thought Charleston was done? Nah, he's just getting warmed up. After clowning Jay Prince Jr., he shifts the focus to another figure that always stirs the pot, Wack 100. Charleston swears up and down that Wack 100 is tied to the feds. He says the only reason Wack rattles Jay Prince Sr. so much is because Wack is plugged in with government people. And according to Charleston, that's why Jay Prince Sr. don't look like the big boss no more. He straight up says that mystique is gone. He don't look strong, he look nervous. Wack done rattled his cage and the feds backing him. Now, whether that's facts or just Charleston stirring smoke, you gotta admit that's a wild claim. If true, it flips the power dynamic in the industry. If false, it's still throwing gasoline on the fire. Remember, Jay Prince Sr. built a decades-long reputation as one of the most respected moguls in hip-hop. Quiet, calculated, powerful, the type of man who moved like a shadow but had everybody's respect. Charleston says that's over by letting himself get dragged into internet beefs, by responding on camera, by even acknowledging dudes like Wack 100 and Charleston himself. He's lost the aura. It's a bold statement. The great Mr. Prince let somebody trick him. He don't look like the untouchable godfather anymore. Here's where Charleston flips the whole script. He stops talking like one man versus another man, and he starts talking like it's a nation versus mob ties. He says, I don't claim no game. I don't claim no city. I represent a nation. He paints himself as bigger than Houston, bigger than Rap-A-Lot, bigger than Mob Ties, and he claims the backing of land, family, and firepower. He brags about having cars full of guns, bulletproof vests, and the will to go to war with anybody, even the police. It's over the top, it's brash, but that's exactly what keeps viewers locked in. Charleston don't just call out names, he makes it sound like he's ready for a full-blown battle. Let's be real, Charleston ain't scared of nobody, and he makes that crystal clear. He says he's ready to go to war with Jay Prince, with Mob Ties, even with law enforcement if it comes down to it. Run up on me, James Prince, I'm ready to go to war. I got over 50 guns, bulletproof vests. I don't give a damn. That's not a metaphor in Charleston's world. That's him daring his enemies to test him. It's reckless, but it's also why people tune in. The shock factor, the unpredictability, the sense that he's willing to say and do what nobody else will. Charleston also breaks down Houston's role in all this. He keeps stressing that Houston itself is not the problem. He calls it a player town, a city where you can party all night, hit strip clubs, and enjoy yourself without being in danger. The problem, he says, is Mob Ties. They create this illusion of control, this fake fear that you gotta check in or else. But Charleston argues, if you avoid them, Houston is one of the safest, most fun cities to be in. In his words, stay away from Jay Prince Jr. and you'll be fine. Houston don't need Mob Ties to shine. Charleston's whole point in this rant is that Mob Ties' power ain't real power. It's branding, it's intimidation, it's smoke and mirrors. He says if Mob Ties really had influence, they'd be moving like the Italian mafia back in New York, influencing judges, police chiefs, unions, construction contracts. Instead, all they do is scare rappers into checking in and hanging around dice games. To Charleston, that's not power, that's desperation disguised as muscle. One of the coldest parts of Charleston's breakdown is when he talks about respect. He says respect can't be forced. You can't demand it at gunpoint. You earn it through action, through consistency, through building community. That's where he hits Mob Ties the hardest. Mob Ties don't show up when the community hurting. They don't protect women. They don't save babies. They don't fight for justice. They only show up when it's time to extort rappers. That right there flips the script, turning Mob Ties from feared gatekeepers into empty figures who've lost the real respect of the streets. Finally, Charleston laughs at how Jay Prince Sr. looks now that he's engaging in these battles. He says the once untouchable figure now looks shaky, nervous, and even played out. According to Charleston, Wack 100 and others got him spooked, and now the mystique is gone. The legend is tarnished, the brand is weakened, and in Charleston's eyes, that's the ultimate win. Not by fists, not by guns, but by words. Now here's where things get real interesting. Once Charleston's rant hit the internet, the fans went crazy, and the reaction split straight down the middle. On one side, you got people cheering Charleston on, saying he's the only one with the guts to call out the princes and the whole check-in system. To them, Charleston is the voice of truth, exposing the fakery and putting real pressure on people who've been hiding behind fear tactics for decades. But on the other side, folks warning him he's poking the wrong bear. They're saying, yo, Charleston, you going too far. You don't know who you dealing with. Some even claim he's writing his own death sentence by going so hard on Jay Prince Sr. and Jr. That's the split half the culture, laughing and applauding, the other half shaking their heads, waiting for retaliation. But Charleston, man, he don't care. He ain't apologizing. He ain't backpedaling. In fact, he's doubling down. He says flat out, Mob Ties ain't saving nobody. If that's the truth, then this check-in culture gotta die for good. That's the mic drop. He's saying the whole system is rotten and he ain't gonna respect it, no matter what threats come his way. Charleston's real genius here is how he flips the narrative. Instead of being scared of Mob Ties, he ridicules them. He compares them to smoke and mirrors, a brand built on intimidation but hollow at the core. He says you can go to Houston and enjoy yourself. The city's lit, the people are players, the business is thriving. But Mob Ties, that's just Jay Prince Jr. playing gangster. By separating Houston's reputation from Mob Ties, Charleston strips away their biggest weapon, fear. He's telling rappers and celebrities you don't need them, you don't owe them, laugh free. And this whole rant forces the culture to confront bigger questions. What does respect really mean in hip-hop? Why should rappers have to pay for safety in their own community? If Mob Ties is about protection, why do tragedies keep happening under their watch? Charleston might be wild, reckless, and disrespectful, but he's making people think, and that's why his rants hit so hard. Before rapping, Charleston leaves no doubt where he stands. He says he's ready for whatever comes. He got land, he got family, he got cars full of guns, and he ain't bending for nobody. He repeats again, run up on me, James Prince. I'll go to war with you with Mob Ties, even with the police if I have to. It's over the top, but it cements his image as somebody who don't fear consequences. To his supporters, that's bravery. To his critics, that's stupidity. Either way, it's the reason his name keeps ringing. At the end of the day, whether you agree with Charleston or not, you can't ignore him. He's forcing uncomfortable conversations, he's dragging giants into the spotlight, and he's exposing cracks in the image that's been carefully built for years. Mob ties used to feel untouchable. Now, people questioning their power, people laughing at the idea of checking in, people wondering if the princes really got the juice they claimed. And that's Charleston White's impact. He destabilizes, he provokes, he forces you to pick a side. So where does this all leave us? With a culture divided, with J. Prince Sr.'s mystique questioned, with J. Prince Jr.'s credibility dragged through the mud, with Mob Tie's reputation as shaky as it's ever been. And at the center of it all, Charleston White, loud, reckless, fearless, and still talking. Love him or hate him, he's not letting this go. And as long as he keeps pushing the line, the streets, the fans, and the rap game are going to keep watching. Because at the end of the day, Charleston White is saying what a lot of folks think, but are too scared to say respect ain't something you can buy, extort, or demand. If your name only means fear, then maybe your power was never real in the first place.